How's everybody doing today? It is April 27th, 2021. I didn't plan on being able to make a video today because, like I told you, I'm still working on getting a new laptop or a desktop setup just so I can do all my videos again, get all my editing back, I already got the new software, the editing software that I'm going to put on it. So I'm getting there day by day, but I was planning on just going live tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which I'm still going to do. So please check it out. It'll be on the backup channel, ErikSeesAll 2. That's the number 2. And go there, and I will be live 8 p.m. tomorrow night Eastern Standard Time, okay? But I heard this while I was out with my grandma. It was like breaking news, them talking about this. So I had to run home, do everything I could to get this to you because this is extremely, extremely important, okay? It says, jabbed Americans don't need masks outdoors in small groups or when biking and running, the CDC says. It says, President Joe said, and federal health officials said Tuesday that Americans who are fully jabbed against the CV no longer need to wear masks outdoors in most situations except for large gatherings. A step, the president said, towards getting life in America closer to normal. How many times have we heard that? By his target date of the 4th of July. We'll stop real quick with this. I can answer your question. What's normal, right? You hear all these sheep, all the masses still saying, oh, if you just hurry up and get your jab, Eric, if you just listen and wear masks, we'll be able to go back to normal. Don't you want to go back to normal, Eric? No, because we know what it already was heading to, okay? You want to know what the new normal is? Yeah, a full police state, and that's what it's getting to, okay? And they are right. They're not lying here. They're getting America closer to normal. It's just their normal. Not what you thought 10 years ago what it was. It's their normal. Realize that, please. It goes on to say, beginning today, gathering with a group of friends in a park, going for a picnic, Mr. B said, addressing reporters outside the White House on what he deemed a beautiful day in Washington. As long as you are jabbed and outdoors, you can do it without wearing a mask. Just 2 days before he marks his 100th day in office after U.S. CV cases, hospitalizations, and deaths declined sharply since January, Mr. B remarked that Americans have made stunning progress, but his comments were tempered with caution. Masks are still necessary at outdoor concerts or sporting events, he said, and he appealed to Americans who have not yet done so to what? Roll up their sleeves and get jabbed. We're going to go up here real quick. I want you to remember how I've been showing you everything in Michigan, how it's been so bad. That's all they've been talking about is how horrible Michigan, horrible we are, worst in the nation by a ton. It doesn't matter what it is, hospitalizations, deaths, anything that their numbers that they're putting out, Michigan is by far the worst in the United States. But you're going to come on here and say that, oh, look at, they've declined. Cases, hospitalizations, death have declined sharply since January. How then in the one state, okay, not the one state, but one of the top 3 states, when it comes to strictness, how they've been doing all these draconian laws, you have California, New York, and Michigan. Those have been in the top 3 the entire time since this has happened. It started in New York, then it swapped to, LA or California, then it swapped back to Michigan, then it went around again, etc., etc. But how can you come out and say that we're having stunning progress, right? You can see how they talk out of both sides of their mouth. This is what I'm trying to get at, because the end game is obviously this, which we've been saying for years, but we've really been saying it so much for the last 2 years, trying to wake people up. It goes on, it says, a short while earlier, the CDC issued new guidelines. How many times are they going to do the new guidelines, right? We talked about this, a year ago, how they just continue to change the guidelines, right? Changed every symptom. They changed it to, literally you didn't have to have any symptoms, you could, never know you had it for a week, You get what I'm saying? They just continue to manipulate it, continue to change the guidelines, and they're doing it again. But this one is for a totally a different reason, a very, very important reason for you and I to understand this, okay, and for you to be able to share this. It says, the CDC says that Americans who are fully jabbed against the CV no longer need to wear masks outdoors if they're walking, running, hiking, or biking, either alone or with members of their household, and in small outdoor gatherings. You want to know why I keep saying that this is extremely important? Let me explain this part right here, which I'm sure a lot of you caught right away too. But if you didn't, and for show anybody else, how are they going to tell who is fully jabbed? Can you explain that? If you know the answer besides the one answer that we know, which would be 100% tracked, chip, whatever you want to call it, right? That would be the only way, right? How else are they going to do it? You got 10 people out in the middle of a park. None of them have masks on. How can you decipher? Explain me that. If you can give me an answer to that, please leave it in the comments, because the only way to decipher is some type of technology, some type of tracking, device, some type of, surveillance system, right? That's it. That's why this is so important. This is them opening the door right here, okay? This is so big. I cannot even explain to you how important this part is, what they're about to do. It says the risk of the virus spreading outdoors is so low that even unjabbed individuals do not need to wear a mask if they hike, jog, bike, or run alone or with a household member, according to the CDC's updated advice, right? Always and always. People who haven't got their shots can also go without a mask to small gatherings held outside as long as they are with fully jabbed friends and family. Is that not just the most ridiculous statement? You have been telling us how bad we're going to spread it. Us right here, the ones who haven't got the shot, right? You're telling us that we are going to spread it over and over and over again, but now you're going to come out with guidance and say that even if I don't have it, I can go ahead and go around other people because they are fully jabbed. Well, that would make sense if you're reporting and everything that you've been putting out from the CDC and all the data showed that these fully jabbed people aren't still vulnerable, aren't still maybe going to get, just the CV or one of the new variants, right? So how does this make sense? How are you allowing us now to go around these people? Oh, well, they're fully jabbed. It doesn't matter. You've put out all the information. Thousands of people have now come down with so-called CV after they've been fully jabbed. How does that work? This is a setup. This is about the biggest setup that I just pray to you that, we can see this, that other people can see this. It says the guidelines were further relaxed for jabbed people. They can take their masks off when they attend small gatherings with people who haven't gotten their shots, and when they dine in a restaurant outside with people from several households. How are you going to tell the difference if they're fully jabbed or not? We're going to keep repeating it. The CDC stopped short of telling even fully jabbed people that they couldn't shed their masks altogether in outdoor settings, citing the worrying risk that remains for transmitting the CV, unknown jab levels among people in crowds, and the still high caseloads in some regions of the country. That's us. That's Michigan. That's one of the ways, okay? But this just does not make any sense. So you're not going to let them take it off completely because what? Oh, the risk remains that it can be transmitted to the ones that are already jabbed. This is about the most backwards talking out of both sides of their mouth. I mean, this does not line up. Their own article does not line up with what they're saying. It says, but with the total number of jabs rising and the daily number of cases falling, this doctor says, who warned several weeks ago that she felt a sense of impending doom, said she now feels more hopeful. Do you see them pushing the narrative? Oh, a lady, a doctor from the CDC was so worried, several weeks ago, impending doom. But now, because of what? Oh, the jabs that are going around, right? She feels more hopeful, right? This is continuing to get more and more people to go and do it voluntarily. Go roll up your sleeves, okay? Look at, even if she thought it was that bad, look how much these jabs are helping, right? Well, why in Michigan, that it is one of the most, the states, we have had tons and tons, millions of people that are fully jabbed now, and they have not relaxed the mask since the very beginning, since it started. They have not opened anything up fully. Nothing. We have been on the strict lockdowns or restrictions since it all started. So how is that possible, right? It says the United States is averaging around 55,000 new cases a day, roughly a 20% drop from 2 weeks ago. Wow. What's going on here, huh? It says, I know the quarantine and shutdowns throughout the pandemic have been exhausting, She says, but I know we all miss the things we used to do before the pandemic, and I know we all want to do the things we love, and soon. Today is another day that we can take a step back. Shouldn't it be a step forward, number one? But taking a step back makes more sense because that's what they're doing. These are how they talk, and just different, just laughing at us and mocking at us. Oh, look, we could take a step back. Should say step forward, but they're right. A step back, yeah. A step back into more and more control, more and more draconian laws, more and more police states, etc., etc. Mr. B sought to link the news with the administration's public campaign to get most American adults jabbed by summer and to try to offer reassurances, still trying to persuade people, that some semblance of normal life could return, concluding his brief remarks with a public service announcement for the jab. It says, in presenting the new guidelines for wearing masks, public health officials on Tuesday emphasized how people who are inoculated could enjoy mask-free leisure activities, rather than how the guidelines also lifted some restrictions for those who had not rolled up their sleeve. It was a concerted message at a time when jab rates have dipped, causing concern about hesitancy in harder to reach populations. This is huge. But the CDC is maintaining its advice on whether safety measures, saying all adults should continue wearing masks and staying 6 feet apart in large public spaces like outdoor performances or sports events, indoor shopping malls, movie theaters, where the jab and the health status of others would be unknown. How is it not going to be unknown at all times unless you are going to force us to being tracked and being whatever it is, showing that we got it? Says, and they still should avoid medium and large gatherings, crowds, and poorly ventilated spaces. See, they're never going to let this go. They're just going to continue to manipulate this back and forth, back and forth. Says, I welcome less restrictive guidelines about masking outdoors. Says an aerosol scientist at Virginia Tech. He says, we know that the transmission outdoors is much less likely to occur than indoors because the virus cannot accumulate in the air outdoors. It'll become rapidly diluted. Says, by the guidelines themselves, which outline different masking recommendations for a variety of scenarios, seem overly complex. That's what the point is. The entire point is to have it so complex, so hard to understand, just like the symptoms, when they continued to add every symptom under the book, including no symptoms for CV19. Please understand this right here. All right, I will leave the rest of this in the description. I'll leave the link to it because this is huge. All right, go back and listen to this. We knew it was coming, but it's just really huge to explain that they're going to the next phase. This is what I've been talking about. Phase 1, Phase 2, Phase 3, right? Phase 1, get every single person that's willing. Phase 2, get the ones that are on the fence, persuade them, which they're still doing. They're still in Phase 2, but now they are also rolling out Phase 3. Which is to completely set this system up to where you have to have proof of your jab to literally do anything. Get ready for it. We know it's coming. Don't be scared. Don't fear. Just continue to prepare and plan and talk to your family, talk to your friends. Do all you can to make sure that they understand what is about to go down in the next, say year, because he's talking July 4th, right? I think that's a big date. We need to watch that to see where we've been pushed by that date. Will that be the time? Will that be the time period, July, right in there, where they will start ramping everything up to come after you and I? We know it's coming sometime, but just like if you believe in your faith, you know that this time is not going to be hard. We will be persecuted. We will be spiritually attacked. Happens to me on a daily basis, but as long as you have your faith, your relationship with God, you have absolutely nothing to worry about. Everybody continue to pray, stay strong, do not panic. We'll talk to you soon. God bless.